Young and the Restless 2-week spoilers August 18th to 29th. Lily's deception exposed and Nick's explosive accusation. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. If you're not following us, please reach down and click that subscribe button. Let's jump right into it. On Monday, August 18th, Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic, and Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, are talking about Amy Lewis, Valerie Pettiford, seeming worn down by Damian Keynes, Jermaine Rivers, death and funeral. Nate needs a distraction. He asks his girlfriend about Victor Newman, Eric Braeden. Audra tells him that her gut told her it was time to cut ties with Victor. Victor Newman drama and Audra's decisions on YNR. Then Nate stuns Audra and says Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, told him that it was Victor who backed out of the deal. Audra gets defensive, and that makes Nate even more suspicious. Audra tells him to distract him that she's going to take a job working with Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, at Abbott.com. Lily tells Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, that she will help him with the kids if he tells her what all he's planning. But he's more interested in talking about a reunion, and she's not. Zane suspects that Lily is playing him, so he turns down her deal. Lily Winter's caught in the middle. Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, interrupts them, and Lily tries to get some info out of him. However, she leaves mad with nothing. Kane tells Holden to add Nick to his target list. Then Kane sets a time to call the kids and face the music. Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, and Nick are discussing Summer Newman, Alison Lanier, staying in Italy permanently. Nick asks Phyllis about Kane and tries to get her to work on Kane to accept his offer to be an ally. Phyllis doesn't buy any of this. She asks if Nick is trying to get her to betray Kane. Nick insists he just wants peace. Young and the Restless. Claire and Nikki talk love and Victor. Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, tells Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, she knows what Victor did to ruin Victoria's love life again and again. She's not going to let it happen to her. Claire is done with Victor. Nikki realizes she can't make this better, so she just tells her granddaughter to ignore Victor and pursue her happiness. Claire tells Nikki she's going to tell Nate what a garbage pile Audra is. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing those words. Phyllis Summers gives advice and Diane Jenkins surprise. Tuesday, August 19th, Phyllis gives Kane some advice that he didn't ask for. It could be about Lily Winters and the kids. When Phyllis was talking to Nick Newman, Lily approached them and was snarking about Kane and the kids, finding what he did unforgivable. Phyllis knows how much her kids have forgiven her. I think for far worse than what Kane has done. Just lying about his name if you think about it. Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, surprises Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, by planning a romantic getaway. I wonder if they're finally going to get a real honeymoon or if it's just local plans in Genoa City. A staycation. They have drinks at the Abbott mansion as Diane surprises Jack with what she's thinking. Holden Novak sparks suspicion and romance. Holden demands to know if Daniel Romalotti, Michael Graziadei, is digging dirt on him for Kane. We have to wonder if Holden is being paranoid or if he has a reason to ask. Does Holden know that Daniel is the son of Phyllis, one of Kane's new partners? Also, Holden is crushing hard on Claire. He may be totally off Audra now. Holden's really trying to resist because Claire's with Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer. And he's focused on his new job with Kane. Audra may be peeved to find out even that Holden doesn't want her now because he was low-key stalking her. She acted annoyed. Audra's ego may actually be bruised if she loses her stalker to Claire and then couldn't seduce Kyle away from Claire. So Audra may be setting herself up as Claire's chief rival, but it may not work out the way she wants. Young and the Restless. Daniel Romalotti, Tessa Porter, and Billy Abbott updates. Wednesday, August 20th, we've got Daniel seeing Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, in a new light. I wonder if she may actually get flirty with Daniel and if there's some sort of vibe there because Daniel's feelings for Tessa may intensify soon. Also this week, Chelsea Lawson Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, asks Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, about what he's going to be doing since Sally is apparently going to be running Abbott.com. Billy tells Chelsea he's got big news to share soon. On Wednesday, Billy is quite angry. He confronts Chelsea and Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, looking for answers. I wonder if Chelsea told Adam that Billy handed control of Abbott.com over to Sally, and Adam did a hit piece on Billy about him being a loser before his company even gets off the ground. It sounds like something Adam would do and that Victor would love. YNR spoilers. Claire Grace warns Nate Hastings about Audra Charles. Claire tells Nate they need to talk. Then Claire tells him he needs to know the kind of person that Audra Charles is. She's going to spill all the beans about the Victor deal, the Kyle seduction, all of it. Audra is going to try and blame things on Kyle to make herself look better and to make Claire look paranoid. Audra may say, "Oh no, there is no deal. Kyle was just trying to seduce me and I rejected him." I don't think any of her scrambling, lying, and denying is going to help. Young and the Restless. Nate Hastings and Devin Winters catch up. Thursday, August 21st, Nate updates Devin Winters, Brighton James, who is just back from his trip to see Anita Dupree, Tamara Tooney, over on Beyond the Gates. I'm sure Nate is going to talk about Damien's funeral and Amy's struggling and what Audra has been up to with Kyle and Victor. The guys talk at society. Jack offers Kyle some fatherly advice and wisdom on Thursday, likely about Claire, Victor, all of the above. And speaking of the mustache, he makes a decision that is going to shock everyone. I wonder if he is going to take Victoria's advice and tell Claire that he will accept her and Kyle. If he does, I don't buy it. The mustache makes a game-changing decision. Friday, August 22nd, Nate demands the truth from Audra Charles. No more BS, no more lies, the truth. Just let the chips fall where they may. I would still be shocked if Nate got the full truth out of Audra. Phyllis Summers gets her first work assignment from Kane. I wonder if it's going to be to spy on Nick, which might work out just fine since Nick has approached her about Kane on Young and the Restless. Audra Charles's scramble and Phyllis Summers' dangerous game. The week of August 25th through the 29th, we've got Audra scrambling. Of course, she wants to keep Nate. She already lost the hope of having her company. I'm sure Audra's not going to give up on Nate without a fight. He's surprised. Of course, Audra is going to blame Claire and Kyle and Victor and anybody but her own actions. She likely won't stop until she gets revenge. Also, Phyllis Summers is playing a dangerous game. We have to wonder, will she really betray Nick for Kane? Unlike her kids, Daniel and Summer, I do not think Nick would forgive her. This is a deal-breaker if she does it. Young and the Restless spoilers. Victor Newman's strategy and Claire over Genoa City, casting long shadows through the upscale offices of Newman Enterprises. Inside, tension crackled like static in the air. Nick Newman was pacing, his usually controlled demeanor fraying at the edges. Across from him sat Lily Winters, her fingers nervously tapping against the polished oak desk. She was trying her best to maintain composure, but the storm in Nick's eyes left little room for subtlety. "You expect me to believe this?" Nick's voice was low, dangerously close to a growl. "After everything, after the trust one placed in you, you just lied? Right to my face." Lily swallowed, the knot in her stomach tightening. She had hoped it would never come to this, but she knew the truth had a way of surfacing, no matter how carefully it was buried. "Nick, I can explain," she began, her voice trembling. "I didn't mean for it to get this far. I thought. You thought." Nick cut in sharply, slamming a hand against the desk, rattling the papers. "Lily, your little thought has consequences. Big ones." Across town, Sharon's heart raced as she received a cryptic text from Nick. "We need to talk. It's urgent. About Lily." She immediately guessed that the situation had escalated. Over the years, Nick had learned to spot deception like a hawk, and if he was sounding this level of alarm, things were serious. Back at Newman Enterprises, Lily's palms were slick with sweat. She had tried to cover her tracks for weeks, weaving half-truths and plausible explanations, but Nick's instincts were sharper than she had anticipated. "I never wanted to hurt you," she said softly, her eyes pleading. "It started out as something small. Something I thought would protect people." Nick's face darkened. "Protect who, Lily? Yourself? Or someone else?" His voice dropped to a deadly whisper. "You've been hiding something, haven't you? And I'm done waiting for you to fess up." Lily's gaze faltered. The truth she had been guarding like a precious gem now seemed like molten lava threatening to burn everything she loved to the ground. It's about the merger with Chancellor Winters," she confessed, her voice barely audible. I altered some of the documents." Nick froze. "Altered? Lily, do you realize what you just said?" His chest heaved with frustration, disbelief, and a sting of betrayal. "This isn't a little fib over lunch. This is fraud. You could ruin everything. Us, the company, even your career." "Yes," Lily admitted, tears welling in her eyes. I didn't know how else to protect my family. I didn't want Kane to get hurt. I just made a choice I now regret. Nick's jaw tightened. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing the room. Do you have any idea what it means that I trusted you? That I thought I knew you. His voice cracked with emotion. I feel blindsided. Lied to. Lily, this isn't just a mistake. You planned it. Lily lowered her gaze, shamed and vulnerable. I know, and I hate myself for it. I never wanted to hurt anyone, least of all you. The office door slammed open suddenly. Devon Hamilton strode in, his expression a mixture of concern and disbelief. Nick? Lily? What's going on? Nick turned toward him, fury still simmering. Devon, you're witnessing it firsthand. Lily, she's been deceiving everyone. Lily's eyes darted between Devon and Nick. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I didn't want anyone to get hurt. I was trying to prevent Kane from losing everything. Devon's brows furrowed. Lily, altering legal documents isn't just a small favor. It's criminal. You could go to jail. Nick slammed his hand on the desk again. Exactly. And yet, somehow, she thought it was okay to decide for all of us what the right thing was. He turned to Lily, his expression a mix of anger and heartbreak. Do you even realize how deep this goes? The board could pull the merger. Investors could back out. And for what? Your misguided sense of protecting Kane. Lily shook her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. I didn't think about the consequences. I was blinded by fear and love. Nick's eyes softened slightly, though the fire hadn't completely died. Love isn't supposed to blind you, Lily. It's supposed to guide you, not destroy everything in its path. Just then, an email notification pinged on Nick's laptop. He opened it and his eyes widened. Oh, it's worse than I thought, he muttered, scrolling rapidly. Lily, the board found discrepancies. They're already questioning the numbers. This could spiral out of control before the end of the week. Lily's face turned pale. No, I can fix it. I can. You don't get to fix it, Lily, Nick interrupted, his voice now icy. You have to face it. Face the consequences for deceiving me and everyone else. There was a long silence in the office, punctuated only by the distant hum of the city outside. Lily's shoulders shook as she tried to gather her thoughts. She had known this moment would come, but the reality of Nick's wrath, and the looming professional fallout, was harsher than she had imagined. Finally, she whispered, I'll do whatever it takes to make it right. Nick exhaled sharply, pinching the bridge of his nose. It's not going to be easy. The damage is done. But, maybe, just maybe, there's a chance to salvage this if you're completely honest from now on. Devon placed a supportive hand on Lily's shoulder. We'll get through this, Lily. But it's going to take a lot of hard work, trust, and transparency. Nick's voice softened slightly, though it carried a note of warning. I love you, Lily. That's why this hurts so much. But you have to understand. Love can't save you from the consequences of your actions. Right now, honesty is your only lifeline. Lily nodded, a mixture of determination and remorse settling over her. I understand, Nick. I won't hide anything again. I promise. Nick gave her a long, measured look. Good. Because this isn't just about us anymore. This is about everyone we care about. And if we don't get it right, there's no coming back. As Lily left the office, her mind raced with a plan to come clean to the board and Kane. Outside, the sky had turned a deep amber, signaling that nightfall was near. But for Lily, it felt like the end of one chapter and the terrifying start of another. Nick sat back in his chair, running a hand over his face. The man who had once trusted blindly now carried the weight of betrayal, but also the faint hope that truth, however explosive, could mend the cracks. In Genoa City, deception was a currency, and trust was a fragile commodity. Lily had spent it recklessly, but Nick Newman, ever the relentless force, was determined to make sure the truth prevailed, no matter the cost.